You're checking out the longest running online radio show on the iPower Evening Show. DeMarco J on Pretty Ricky and Stefan Mason.
Stefan Mason, keeping it old school on the IPES.
Now on the iPower Evening Show.
This is iPower Zone, Stefan Mason, keeping it old school here on the IPES. Well, I got some good news and I got some bad news. The good news is, if people didn't already know, Trump has finally moved out of New York City once and for all. That's the good news for New Yorkers out there who are relieved of this man's BS. However, the bad news is Trump is still the president, unfortunately moving down to Florida as his permanent home, still corrupting the American people. Yep, that's right, I said it. Still lying, still cheating, and still stealing. That's his motive and that's his main mission, doing the dirty work for his boss, Mr. Putin, to get what he wants from this man. Yes, Trump has somebody in power that's above him in Russia, and that's President Vladimir Putin. Hello. He's also doing his part to get his Russian expert hackers ready to infiltrate social media and voting systems across the country that Senator Moscow Mitch McConnell could have prevented. They, the Russians, are getting ready to hack into our election system once again for 2020. This is why I keep saying Trump will get reelected in that White House. I'm sorry I have to say that. That don't mean we as Americans should stop voting. No, like Reverend Al Sharpton said, we as black people and everybody have to overflow these poll stations come November in 2020. Yes, black people, we have to overflow these poll stations across the country where we can vote and intercept the Russian interference who are trying to steal our votes away just to put this man back in the Oval Office. And you got some black people out there voting for this crook, because that's what he is, a damn criminal, a felon, a racist, and a rapist. Yeah, I said it. That's what the man is. A total con artist who has conned people across the country for years and decades. And y'all Negroes are supporting this man? Wake your black asses up, because Trump don't give a damn whether we Negroes live or die in this damn country, because he ain't for black people. And speaking of Negroes, Van Jones! What the hell has become of you? Whose side are you on? Because you can't serve two masters. Either you for black people, African Americans, or you for your oppressors. And the person that can explain all this mess about this confused man, Van Jones, here's my brother D.L. Hughley in his own words on how he really feels about Van Jones.
Donald Trump made a speech at Benedict College and HBCU in Columbia, South Carolina. It's safe to say that Donald Trump has never been around that many black people ever in his life. But I'll say this, that he wasn't around that many black people then. Even when he gave a speech at a college and HBCU, he stuffed the ballot box. He made sure that there were 200 of his supporters there and only 7 of those students allowed to be there. And he was receiving the Bipartisan Justice Award from these people at Benedict College. Almost any time Van Jones is somewhere and you're a black person, you'd be wise to be on the other side of it. Now, I have no idea what has happened to this cat. I don't know what he believes, but he maligned Kamala Harris for refusing to sit in a room and be used for a prop like he seems to do so eloquently. Because what he said specifically, because I don't want to misquote him, he said basically, running away from a conversation that never solved anything. Some people will abandon a microphone because they don't like what the person who touched it last. Others are smart enough to grab that microphone and make sure they get the last word. It's interesting that he would malign Kamala Harris for doing exactly what Donald Trump did. He made sure that only his supporters were there. He made sure he got what he needed and he left. He was not there to have a conversation. It's interesting that he would give this speech a few days after he used the word lynching in talking about him being impeached. It's interesting he would receive an award for freeing, he's pardoned 2 black people. But meanwhile, during the Central Park 5, he was trying to have 5 black people, innocent black people, get capital punishment. He wanted them killed. He wanted them lynched. Also, if he's such a person who's interested in bipartisan justice, why did he roll back all Obama's sentencing guidelines? Why did he do everything he could to dismantle everything Obama had done? Why does he consistently bring judges? As I recall, it's a judge in the news right now that said that the problem why we have mass shootings is because we put all these reforms on police officers. Do you think that helps black people or hurts them? When Obama had a moratorium placed on us looking at the Justice Department, looking at police departments, he took it off. So what he does is uses black people for optics, and Van Jones and people like him make it easy. You malign Kamala Harris for not willing to have a conversation. You didn't say anything to him. Donald Trump is a showman. That's what he is. It's magic. He does magic tricks. He does nothing and pretend like. Interestingly enough, today he's in there talking to police chiefs. You think that's going to go good for black people? What's happening in Texas, when that young woman, Tatiana Jefferson, was shot down, they wanted an independent body to come in. And when they were forced to face between Texas officials and Barr's Justice Department, who do you think they chose? He is not interested in helping black people, and it's resentful for Van Jones to pretend like he's an interesting conversation. He's let 2 black people go, and you give him a bipartisan award, justice award, for what? Everything he does is to lock y'all up and to look good doing it. And everything he does, he's abetted by men like Van Jones. You malign Kamala Harris, but you say nothing to him. It was 200 people in there. 10 of those students were invited. 7 came, and the rest of them were locked in their rooms while that man gave that speech, and you gave him a bipartisan justice award. For what? He is a master of using you as optics. You might as well be the Mercedes backdrop at a club. He is a master of pretending to do something. And he's always abetted by men like you, earnest-looking men who pretend like they have people's best interests at heart and meanwhile make us look worse and do worse. What you have done, Van, you have normalized him, and she refused to do it. And you maligned her because she wouldn't play the role you played. You should be ashamed of yourself. 2 black men are free, and thousands will go to jail because you believe that he's really doing something. He pretends to do stuff, and he's abetted by cats like you. You malign her because she refused to do what you did. Shine his shoes. It is ridiculous. And those people at the SBC, how many times are HBCU going to be around this cat and get nothing for it but a picture? That's what they do. You wonder why they're in trouble all the time financially, because they got men who believe that that's the proper thing to do running their colleges. Donald Trump does magic tricks. That's what he does. He does magic tricks. He uses black people for optics and nothing more. He goes to take your award for a bipartisan award and say, look at these black people love me. And then he talks to police chief in Chicago. You think he's going to help you there? Donald Trump does magic tricks. He's the magic. Guess who's the trick?
Well said, Brother DL. Well said. Now, black people, I get this question all the time about our own. Why do we hate ourselves as a race? Do we fear our own based on talent, based on knowledge, based on education, based on our own opinions, based on a better life, based on we just hate our own, period? Why do we, as the only race of people in this country, hate ourselves? Have y'all noticed that black people, African Americans, not all of them, for those who've been stayed woke, have y'all noticed that black folks are so easy to be manipulated, not just by some racist white folks, but by some black folks? It is sad that some of us can't even think for ourselves, but we got people around us that are doing the thinking for us by poisoning our minds with all this foolishness to go against our own, talking about, oh, that one said this, that one said that. So wait a minute. The good Lord gave y'all a mind to think and to make your own decisions. And you telling me you can't make your own as a grown-ass black man or woman? Look, we know that white supremacy has been doing that to us black folks since we got off the boat back during the days of slavery. I get that. But believe it or not, and I know some black folks gonna get mad, but there's some Negroes that has been doing that to us for years, going back decades and going back centuries. So this ain't nothing new, and it's still going on today in 2019. This is why we have so much division in our communities that we cannot even come together, because we so easily manipulative, not just by white supremacy, but sadly by our own. This is why some of our youth in this generation today and others before that don't think before they speak or react to something or someone that could possibly land them in jail or dead. Oh, they talking ish about you. Oh, he said New York sucks, Boston sucks. Oh, he hate black people. Oh, he said black people are inferior. Well, first of all, how did you know he said that? Did you particularly heard him say that? How do you know he said it? You don't know that. That's called hearsay, meaning you not sure if he or she said it or not, but you go and attack them physically or even mentally or both without the facts to back up that person's claim who's self-hating. This is why people need to do their research instead of hearing it from this or that person that could be lying on you and putting out false narratives out there based on their self-hatred for you. Not only that it's hearsay, that is what you call manipulation. And some black folks who are not educated nor even know the knowledge of themselves will go and listen to somebody else talking about you, thinking it's the God-honest truth. We got so many lies about this online radio station regarding me, DeMarco, Ricky, and Raphael from some people and some Negroes out there in Boston. They would believe every lie that they tell about us to make it the God-honest truth. But on the other hand, we thank those who are open-minded, like our brothers and sisters in Boston and across the country, faithfully tune into this radio station that are stay woke. Those are the black people I don't mind talking to. And it's very difficult and hard to manipulate certain black folks, especially here in New York City, because Boston and New York and other cities across the country know that we are coming from a positive vibe. They want to hear the truth. They want to hear real music that meant something to our people. No disrespect to today's artists on Hip Hop and R&B Monday, but this is Stefan Mason. I keeps it old school here on the iPower Evening Show. This is who I am. See, again, not all black folks are for us. Some do want to come together, while others just want to divide and conquer. This is why you see some of our own supporting Trump, supporting his racism, his rhetoric, and his foolishness. Trump playing y'all Negroes, just like this mindless Negro Kanye. Both Kanye and Trump are the biggest manipulators of African Americans today. It is sad. And a brother who can explain this very well was the late Malcolm X. Here's what he said in Los Angeles back on May 20th, 1962.
We are oppressed. We are exploited. We are downtrodden. We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights. So the only way we're going to get some of this oppression and exploitation away from us or aside from us is come together against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so that you don't want to be around each other. No, before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate? You should ask yourself, who taught you to hate being what God gave you? And I, for one, as a Muslim, believe that the white man is intelligent enough. If he were made to realize how black people really feel and how fed up we are without that old compromising sweet talk. Stop sweet talking it. Tell him how you feel. Tell him what kind of hell you've been catching, and let him know that if he's not ready to clean his house up, if he's not ready to clean his house up, he shouldn't have a house. It should catch on fire and burn down.
Now, black people, I just want to take some time to talk about our beloved brother who we lost last month. I'm talking about the late, great John Witherspoon, who left this earth at age 77. He made us laugh throughout the years, been on tons of TV shows and on the big screen. The Richard Pryor Show, Good Times, What's Happening, Hill Street Blues, Frank's Place, Amen, Martin, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, the Wayans Brothers, of course, Living Single, The Proud Family, The Tracy Morgan Show, The Boondocks, and much, much more. Throughout the years, we lost great comedians. We lost Robin Harris, Red Fox, Bernie Mac, and now John Witherspoon, probably up in heaven right now, entertaining for our Lord and making him laugh. Oh yes. How can we not forget the movies that he was in and the most famous films that he was in that were absolute classic? From the Hollywood Shuffle to I'm Gonna Get You Sucker to House Party to the 5 Heartbeats to Boomerang to Vampire in Brooklyn to all the Friday movies that he was in to Soul Plane and much, much more. And to close off my Keeping It Old School, let's hear some classic moments from our brother, John Witherspoon.
Every time I come in the kitchen, you in the kitchen, in the goddamn refrigerator, eating up all the food, all the chicken, all the pig feet, all the collard green, all the hog maws. I want to eat some of them chitlin. I love pig feet. You ate my dinner, my mashed potatoes. That good old gravy I like, and them biscuits I can stop that gravy in. You ate all it up. You drink up all the milk. Don't care what kind of milk it is. You don't care. 2%, 3% buttermilk, patent milk, polar cow on the patent milk can. I bet you eat that too. What's wrong with you? I'm hiding my grapes. You gonna eat up all my grapes. Now your mama told me what happened to you yesterday. What? That was stupid. How the hell you gonna get fired on your day off?
I don't know.
Well, you need a trade. Take a look at that paper over there on the counter there.
I ain't trying to be no dog catcher.
Why not? George Clinton was a dog catcher.
No, he wasn't.
Sure he was. That's why he said, do the dog catcher, dog catcher.
I don't even like dogs.
That's the beauty of it. I grab a dog, and I choke him, and I kick the out of him, and I all day long I put up a dog's ass. Just bang, bang, bang up his ass. That's my pleasure. Hey, Craig, have you seen my... What's that for?
Protection?
Protection? Protection from who?
Yeah, Smokey. I got to walk Smokey down to his house.
Oh, man. Your mother and I never would have moved in this neighborhood if we had known you need a gun to walk down the damn street.
You know how it is around here.
Oh, no, son. That's not the way it is. You kids today are nothing but punks. Sissified. So quick to pick up a gun. You're scared to take an ass whipping. This one makes you a man. When I was growing up, this was all the protection we needed. You win some, you lose some. But you live. You live to fight another day. And you think you're a man with that gun in your hand, don't you?
I'm a man without it.
Put the gun down. Come on, put up your dukes. Now you're a man. Your uncle picked up a gun, too. He had to find out the hard way. 22 years old. You got a choice. These are all you need, all right? What that sound echoed in the night. A sound I hear when I'm holding you tight. It's my love going bang, bang, bang. Goes bang, bang, bang. You better run to cover your sweet little fever. When my love goes bang, 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 it's gonna be you and me again. Let the sound echo through the night. The sound I hear when I'm holding you tight. You just rang. It's my love going bang, bang, bang. When my love goes bang, 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 you better run to cover your sweet. When my love goes bang, 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 it's gonna be you and me again.
Rest in power, brother. Thanks for those laughable memories from our beloved comedian, John Witherspoon, who may be gone, but he will never be forgotten. And this is iPower Zone, Stefan Mason. Keeping it old school here on the IPES. Enough said.